Have you ever noticed how often women say sorry, even when it's not their fault? Maybe she bumps into someone on the street, apologizes for it, and even laughs it off. Or she interrupts herself mid-sentence to say sorry, as if her very voice is a burden. This isn't just politeness, it's a pattern, a cycle, something I call the guilt cycle. In today's video, we're going to explore why so many women apologize for everything, even when they don't realize it. We'll uncover the deep social, psychological, and emotional reasons behind this behavior. You'll see how society, upbringing, and internalized expectations quietly program women to feel responsible for everyone else's feelings, often at their own expense. Watch closely, because understanding this cycle will not only give insight into others, but also help recognize and break it, creating space for healthier communication and self-confidence. From childhood, women are often taught to prioritize others' feelings over their own. Imagine a little girl knocking over a cup of juice. Instead of being comforted, she is told, "You should be more careful, sorry." That small moment teaches her that her actions carry responsibility for everyone else's emotions. Psychologically, this is known as internalized social guilt. Women learn to preemptively apologize to maintain harmony and avoid conflict. Over time, it becomes automatic, a reflex even when there's no wrongdoing. In adult life, this pattern continues. In meetings, in relationships, in everyday interactions, she apologizes for speaking, for breathing, for existing. It's subtle, often invisible, but exhausting. Recognizing this early conditioning is crucial. Once you see it, you notice how society quietly rewards self-blame while punishing assertiveness. In the next segment, we'll explore how societal expectations reinforce this guilt cycle, making apologies almost habitual, even when women don't consciously want to apologize. Society often tells women they must be accommodating, nurturing, and responsible for emotional labor. From family dynamics to workplace norms, women are expected to maintain harmony at all costs. This is why women might apologize when a man cuts her off in traffic, or even when her opinion is overlooked in a meeting. These apologies are not signs of weakness. They are socially reinforced behaviors. Psychologists call this social conditioning through reinforcement. Each time she apologizes and the situation resolves, her brain records that saying sorry works, so she repeats it. The impact? Constantly apologizing can lower self-esteem, make her appear less confident, and reinforce the belief that her presence is a problem. In the next segment, we'll see how emotional empathy interacts with this social conditioning, creating a pattern almost impossible to notice until you pay attention. Women often have heightened emotional empathy, which makes them more aware of others' feelings. This can be a strength, but in the guilt cycle, it becomes a trap. When a woman senses discomfort, tension, or potential conflict, she might apologize immediately to soothe the situation, even if she did nothing wrong. Her brain links harmony with safety, and guilt becomes the default response. Over time, this leads to automatic apologizing, where saying sorry is less about her actions and more about controlling the emotional environment around her. The effect? She carries invisible weight. Small incidents accumulate. Self-doubt rises. Confidence quietly erodes. Next, we'll examine how language and communication patterns reinforce this cycle, turning subtle apologies into an almost unconscious habit. Certain words become habitual because they are learned as survival tools. Words like sorry, excuse me, and I hope it's okay function as emotional insurance. Over time, this becomes a linguistic pattern where a woman apologizes before speaking or after expressing an opinion. It's a verbal manifestation of the guilt cycle. This habitual apologizing can affect professional and personal life. In the workplace, it can undermine authority. In relationships, it signals self-doubt. Understanding the power of language here is vital. These words carry more than meaning. They carry psychological weight. In the next prompt, we'll explore how unconscious guilt drives decisions and actions, creating a feedback loop that keeps the cycle alive. Guilt doesn't just influence words, it shapes behavior. Women might take on extra responsibilities, overcommit, or defer to others simply to avoid perceived mistakes or conflict. Psychologically, this is called anticipatory guilt. The brain predicts potential discomfort for others and acts to prevent it. In real life, this can mean apologizing for things that aren't her responsibility or taking blame to keep others comfortable. The cumulative effect is fatigue, self-neglect, and mental strain. Recognizing this unconscious guilt is the first step in breaking the cycle. Awareness creates the possibility of choice instead of reflex. Next, we'll examine how personal boundaries interact with the guilt cycle and why setting limits feels so difficult. Boundaries are critical to mental health, but the guilt cycle makes saying no extremely hard. A woman may apologize excessively when declining requests, as if her refusal must always be softened. This is reinforced by years of social conditioning. Women are expected to be agreeable, nurturing, and selfless. Each apology for asserting a boundary feels necessary, even if it's not. Over time, habitual apologizing and difficulty setting boundaries reinforce one another. She apologizes, sacrifices comfort, and reinforces the belief that her needs are secondary. In the next section, we'll explore how perfectionism and internalized expectations amplify the cycle, making apologies almost automatic. Many women hold themselves to impossibly high standards. Mistakes, however minor, trigger immediate apologies as if she personally caused disruption. This perfectionism often stems from societal expectations. She must be competent, pleasant, nurturing, and flawless. Each perceived failure activates the guilt response. Psychologically, this links to internalized judgment. The brain interprets minor errors as threats to social or personal identity, prompting immediate apologies to restore perceived balance. Next, we'll examine how social media and external comparison reinforce the guilt cycle, amplifying self-consciousness and habitual apologizing. Social media creates constant visibility and comparison. Women see curated lives, achievements, and social expectations every day. This amplifies internalized guilt. Am I doing enough? Saying the right things? Not inconveniencing anyone? Each small misstep triggers an apology. The platform reinforces over-apologizing by rewarding harmony and conformity. Likes, comments, and social approval reinforce automatic self-correction through verbal apologies. Next, we'll discuss the emotional toll of constant apologizing and how it affects confidence, relationships, and mental health. Habitual apologizing may seem small, but its impact accumulates. Women experience self-doubt, stress, and even depression from consistently taking responsibility for things outside their control. Relationships can be affected too. Partners may unconsciously take advantage of the over-apologizing pattern. Career opportunities may be undermined by excessive self-deprecation. Recognizing the emotional toll is key to creating change. Awareness, reflection, and intentional speech patterns can break the cycle. Finally, we'll explore practical strategies to break the guilt cycle, allowing women to communicate without unnecessary apologies. Breaking the cycle begins with awareness. Start noticing each apology. Is it necessary or is it automatic? Pause before responding. Replace reflexive sorry with neutral or assertive language. Set boundaries consciously. Practice saying no without apology. Challenge internalized expectations. Your comfort, needs, and voice matter. Small steps matter. Over time, the brain rewires, reducing automatic guilt responses. Women regain confidence, clarity, and self-respect, and their communication becomes more authentic. By understanding the guilt cycle, recognizing its roots, and practicing intentional speech and boundaries, it's possible to reclaim mental and emotional space. Apologies then return to their proper place, a genuine acknowledgement, not a reflexive habit.